Sheep Show 2026 in Reno is almost here and registration is open. Sign up, book your hotel, and browse the schedule at wildsheepfoundation.org. Full registration gets you into the draw for a heavyweight sheep camp gear package worth over $10,000. Make sure you're there January 22nd to 24th for the biggest mountain hunting and conservation event of the year. If Reno isn't in the cards, the Wild Sheep Society of BC's Salute to Conservation and Mountain Hunting Expo is set for February 26 to 28 in Penticton. Details at wildsheepsociety.com. And check out our friends at North Arm Knives. From kitchen knives to hunting blades, they've got you covered from the field to the butcher block. Visit northarmknives.com. Hey guys, welcome to episode 189. I promised you some guests were in the works, and I'm very excited to let you know that my good friend Chris Barker is on the show today. Chris is on the board of directors and is the vice president at the Wild Sheep Society of BC. So as you'd imagine, we got caught up on all things sheep related in the province of British Columbia on this episode. Got into a few quick hunt stories at the end of the episode too. So I hope you enjoy this one. We were mentioning some dates throughout this episode, and I'm going to confirm and correct some of them at the end of the episode. You can also check the show notes for links to everything related to the Wild Sheep Society BC and, of course, the Wild Sheep Foundation. But let's get into the episode. Sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 189 with Chris Barker. Chris Barker, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you, man.
It's great to see you. I think it's probably been a year again, I think, hasn't it, Mike?
At least, man. I think it might actually be it might be a couple of years since we last jumped on here. But we keep in touch. I try and send you photos from Okanagan Mountain Park. Actually, I got a nice video of a ram I need to send you from end of the summer there. I was in there.
Oh, that's
beauty.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So every time I see those sheep in there, I always think, yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully we maybe hopefully move some sheep again this year. But
really?
I know we were chatting earlier, but we can dive into that a little later, Mike. But
sure. Well, might as well jump right into that. So you gonna put some more into the park?
So not into the park. So we're at Chasm, obviously. I think most of your listeners know. We had that die off in Chasm. And we're down to a few sheep in there.
Right.
And we're in the process of working with Whispering Pines and the government and other First Nations to try and actually move about 12 sheep back into the chasm.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's really premature, so I might get in trouble for talking about it a little bit, but we haven't moved sheep for a long time. So I think the last transplant we did was to the park. So
really?
Yeah. So it'd be, if we can get this off, it'll be really fitting and nice to get something back where it's supposed to be and on the landscape and trying to promote some healthy sheep herds again. So can't say enough about Whispering Pines First Nations and just how instrumental they've been in leading this project. So
that's fantastic. Geez, how many years ago is that now that you guys brought those sheep into the park?
Oh, you're going to test me, Mike. Can't even remember.
It's probably in that episode we did together for Faces of Wildlife. I'm sure we could go back and check, but
I think we'd have to. Those brain cells seem to disappear in my noodle now.
Yeah, you and me both, man. Point being though, it's that's going back a long time, and I don't know if they're doing like extremely well, but it seems to me like they're doing well. I see them all over in the park, so they're not disappearing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, Parks is supposed to do some burns and some habitat work in there. So
okay, nice.
Hopefully that will progress. We've had some changes within the ministry and regional bios, and Craig McLean's left the wildlife portfolio and gone into Parks. So
okay,
once Craig gets a little more water under his feet, we'll try and, promote some habitat work into the park again. And
very cool.
And I think there's some proposed inventory work to do in the park this year. So we'll probably get an idea if they're holding their own or stable, declining, or whatever. I don't think anybody's had eyes on those sheep for a little bit, so I don't know what lamb recruitment's like or any of that stuff.
Right.
In that,
I saw quite a few lambs in the spring, so that was good to see. Actually, cool. I think I sent you a few photos of the lambs I saw in there.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah. It was right on the bluffs, I think, where we were sitting too, wasn't it?
Just like in the mouth of the canyon, so not like maybe a couple kilometers from you and I where we were there. Yeah. So that's good to see. If you need any volunteers in there, let me know, because I know that park pretty good now.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to see if we've still got lambs, after they lamb out in spring, and then if we're carrying lambs into June, July, August, would be really good to know. Obviously, because we've got Moby on that side of the valley, right? So it is as far as the park, but again, we haven't really done any in-depth work. I think that's coming too. So I'll try not to bounce around too much, Mike. So
no, that's okay. I've already taken us off track here. So Moby, is that at the south end of the park? They've seen it, or
basically it came from the U.S. up, so it was cross border. So
it
was Moby in the U.S. It crossed the border, and then it came all the way up to Okanagan Mountain Park.
Gotcha.
And I'm not sure how virulent it's been, but we're not seeing a lot of good lamb recruitment. Definitely down south.
Okay.
I know I've talked to Mark Hubbard a little bit, and he's, his lamb recruitment seems to be decent. And then if you're seeing decent lamb recruitment in the park, maybe some of those shedders have passed away and we don't have to, I think we've got to do some prevalence testing, but Washington State is now on board.
Okay.
And potentially the winter 2026, maybe we can be looking at doing some prevalence or maybe doing some treatment stuff in the Okanagan. So it'd be great to see, but we're kind of waiting on Washington because we didn't want to treat our sheep. Right. And then still potentially have that infection come across the border. So
yeah, it's kind of counterproductive in that sense then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool, man. We'll circle back on some of this stuff. I wanted to start with something exciting, and that's the Salute to Conservation and Mountain Hunting Expo, February, was it 26th to 28th this year?
I believe that's when it is, Mike. I apologize. I should know these dates. So. Kyle's going to kill me.
So what, I know you guys are switching up the Thursday night this year.
Yeah, so pretty exciting. Partnered again with Frontiersman Gear, and they wanted to lead the Ram Awards. So we're going to have a Ram Awards event Thursday night at the hotel, the Lakeside Resort in Penticton. So we're going to have these Ram Awards. I'm not sure of the format. We've kind of just let Tanner and the boys run with it, but usually when those boys run with it, it's usually a pretty fun event. So I'm pretty excited to see what they do.
Could be trouble, yeah.
It could be trouble, but usually that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of expected. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be our Thursday night. And then moving into Friday, obviously the expo will open up at, I think, about 9:00. The vendors will be in there, and we'll open up the doors and people can start wandering around, check out the vendors. We don't have any vendor space. We're sold out. We actually have a waiting list this year for vendors. So I think we've added a few more quality vendors, but we've got the same quality as what we had last year. I think Crispy, Precision Optics,
right on,
Schnee's. I think I'm not sure if Sitka's coming or if they're partnering with Omer or how that works, but this, Ray Ween's taxidermy's coming back. Usually has a really good display. And so yeah, there's really excited to see the vendor hall this year and just how many more we can pack in there. Yeah,
you guys have already outgrown that place, and it's not a small venue either.
No, it's a pretty cool thing, and it's it's our hats off to our members that buy into something. We have an idea, but the idea may not be successful. It's our members that make it successful, and then our sponsors and vendors and everybody coming together. It's that collaborative approach again, Mike.
Yeah, for sure.
It's it's grown, so it's nice to have a waiting list. We know the event's going to sell out, so don't wait to buy your tickets if you're coming and on. It did sell out last year. I think we were 600 or 700 people on the Saturday night for the banquet dinner.
Right on.
So yeah, I think we had over 1,600 people for dinner between Friday and Saturday night. So yeah, it's turned into one of those events you don't want to miss. A bit like Sheep Show.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man.
So yeah, so the Friday night, and then so we'll have a vendors Friday, and then Friday night we'll have the a banquet and auction again. Kind of a chance to get everybody together, make a fun night, backpack races, all that fun stuff. I know there's a few tweaks coming around what we're going to do for events for people, but we really want to try and make it so people can interact and just have that catch up time, that social togetherness a little bit more on Friday night. So, and then Saturday morning, we roll right into bright and early when you're hungover, life member breakfast.
Nice.
So yeah, and another event, I'm pretty sure we just about sold that out last year. So I think there was like 250 people at the life member breakfast last year.
Okay,
so
nice.
Really good attended event again. Expecting hopefully a little bit more growth this year. Maybe we hit 300. Yeah, just a really good event and just a kind of a little bit of a give back to life members. Obviously, we do charge for the event, but that started for recognition of life members and people who really believed in the society from the beginning. And I think we're over 800 life members now. So
nice.
So that's pretty cool. And then then the exhibit hall opens again, and people get to walk around, talk to the vendors, and go through all what they need to do there. And then Saturday night, go get dressed up, and we do it for one final finale night. And usually that's a late night, that one. So but then obviously we've got the Sheep Hunting University. Got a great list of speakers for the Sheep Hunters University. I'm not sure who they all. I know Kyle was just nailing that down a bit more, but I've seen some of the attendees, and it's a solid list. So awesome. Something there for people for educational purposes. And then we'll have a bunch of presentations. We probably won't have a regional bio, seeing as the whole dynamic is shifted around with what Walrus is doing and the regional biologists. It's more these district regional managers looking after everything. Where hopefully Chris Proctor's going to be there. The provincial sheep and goat bio for the province now. So, so Chris has moved from a regional bio's position to this provincial sheep and goat. So really excited to have Chris in that position. And obviously everybody knows how Chris works for sheep. So that's really exciting. So Chris should be there. And then the other presentations, like they'll all be kind of centered around the project. So we kind of touched on, the Seroptes project and the pens, our burns, the Fraser River. We did sponsored a MyTech student, Larissa Murdoch. I think you've met Larissa.
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. Anyway, she's just in the process of writing her thesis on cheatgrass and the selection of habitat when cheatgrass is present and how it affects sheep movements and stuff. So that's a really interesting project, and the amount of what invasive species can have an impact on sheep population. So that's right around Kamloops Lake. So we'll have a bunch of presentations centered around our projects. So just having those people talk about where the members' donated money has gone and what it's doing on the ground and the positive effects it's having. Cool. So
nice.
So that's most of it. I'm not too into the weeds on it, but
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and then obviously we've got all our raffles. I know we've got a Doll Sheep raffle going on right now. Yukon Moose Hunt, an Antelope Hunt, and I think what else have we got going on? I think there's a rifle raffle going on. I think that might get drawn here pretty quick, Mike, too, from the Jurassic Classic raffle. So
nice.
That's kind of one thing. I guess if I touch on something, Mike, all that raffle money, it goes on the ground. That's where that's most of where our project money comes from.
Okay.
Those raffles. So, if you're a member, non-member, doesn't really matter. You want to support wild sheep, buy a raffle ticket and on one of those prizes, and maybe you get a sheep hunt or a moose hunt out of it. But you're supporting sheep conservation in a huge way. So
sure. Yeah, and I feel like the odds are pretty good as far as raffles go on those types of things, right? So you never know, man.
If you don't buy one, you're not going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't buy a lot of lottery tickets. So
nice. So this is going to be the third year in Penticton, right?
Correct. Yeah, third year, and it's really bloomed into this event. Calendar event that you want to have on your calendar that you don't want to miss. So you
guys are happy you made the switch, obviously, from Kamloops to Penticton.
I wish we'd have moved it about 3 years earlier, Mike.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, you don't know until you try it, but sometimes it's a little bit scary to switch things up too, right? You never know what's going to happen. But
and that was
made the right choice.
Yeah, it was Kyle's leadership in that area, and just saying we were outgrown this, and Mike Southern, those two guys kind of lead that thing. And it's just said, let's look at event and different spot. And we presented a couple options to the board, and the board just said, yeah, let's go for it and let's do it. And like I say, I'm pretty sure all our board members will have the same sentiment around that one, Mike.
Well, that's good to hear. Speaking of Penticton, I've been following the Okanagan Bighorns Instagram page, which I'm pretty sure Peter Gutsch is running that one.
Correct.
So the pen project that's happening in Penticton, can you tell me a little bit about what's happening there?
Yeah, so we captured sheep this spring. We got them into the pens, hoping to start the drug trial. So basically, I guess I'll just back it up. So the wild sheep, the California Bighorns in the Okanagan, on the west side of the Okanagan Valley and into the Ashnolas, and again across the U.S. border, have an ear mite called Seroptes, and I won't try and pronounce the last name of it, but
what is it? Seroptic
mange
or something?
Yeah. But it's a little ear mite, and it's an ear mite. It concentrates in the ears, but it can, they can get it all over their bodies. We've seen some sheep that have basically no hair on them. So what we've seen is really poor lamb recruitment.
Okay.
Since this really blew up and basically infected the whole sheep population on the west side.
Brutal.
So we originally back, I think it was probably 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, we had those pens. The original pens were built to do the original Seroptic mange trial.
Okay.
And we had those sheep in there for just under a year, and we tried a couple of different drugs on them. Then they tried a drug towards the end of the trial, but they couldn't finish the trial out on it. So the sheep got released, and then we've been talking about it, and we visited it with O&A and talking to Mackenzie and Kaylin Glasser and Mackenzie Clark from O&A. And I said, we really need to probably look at what we can do with Seroptes. And so we brought Adam Hennering in and Helen Swansha and Kylie Thacker, the new provincial wildlife vet. And we had these discussions, and then we had a symposium in the first year in Penticton. And we brought in a fellow from Scotland, and he was really good about explaining what they do with domestic sheep and mange and how they control it in Scotland. So that kind of triggered this second phase or second project. And then we kind of put it into place and got the sheep captured. And then we were just waiting on the drugs to come in. And they took a little longer to get here than we anticipated. But the first actually drug treatment will be this November 27th, 28th.
Okay.
So anybody that's interested, there'll be monthly checkups on the sheep from now on. So anybody that's interested, reach out to Peter. Any volunteer opportunities, if you want to get your hands on wild sheep, there's a great opportunity to get in, give something back, go and interact with those sheep and see what that mange is doing to those sheep. So starting in November, there'll be monthly assessments on those sheep. So they're going to administer the first round of drugs November 27th, 28th. Coming up really quick. Right now they've got rams in the pen, so we don't miss a breeding cycle.
Yeah, right.
So there'll be some more lambs in the spring born. We did have I think it was 14 lambs born in the pens this spring.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because we captured, I think it was late February, maybe early March, somewhere right around there, Mike, that we captured those sheep and put them into the pens and then kept them through the summer.
Gotcha.
Monitored them, got everything kind of stable. And then we finally got the drugs. So now we can do this first round of treatment and just to see what works. And then we're going to be looking to see if we can actually do something that's oral through feed or for water, or is it an injection process, and just what that will look like to try and get mange off the landscape in the Okanagan.
Peter posted a photo, I don't know, within the last couple of weeks here of the ear on, I think it was on a ram, and it just looks brutal.
That's gross. Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, so I can't imagine. These poor sheep, man, it's one thing to another with Movi and Blue Tongue and now this. So they can't get a break, man.
No,
they're such a rugged and tough animal. They sure get hammered with everything else.
Yeah. Plus, where they live too, right? And then we throw in a few wildfires and some habitat degradation, and then loss of habitat. But hopefully we can turn it around and make sure we keep those populations on the Okanagan for generations to come.
Yeah.
So that's the intent.
Yeah, for sure. We were chatting about this a little bit before we started recording, and it sounds like you guys are going to start looking into getting some data. But the last time you and I chatted, it was a while after the big fire came through. It was interesting because it's literally like I can see West Side Road if I look off of my deck here. And I was watching those fires come through, and I was worried about, that herd that's over there, and what was going to happen to them. And apparently they all ended up at the campsite, which didn't get burned at all. So it was kind of interesting to know that they knew to go and hide out there, and they were fine. But when you and I were talking, you said that this latest burn kind of opened up opportunities for them to expand their territory potentially. And I actually haven't seen them in the last little while. It's been a while since I don't go over there too often, but haven't seen them. And I was curious. I was asking you if there's been any data or anything on if they've expanded their territory at all after those fires. But it sounds like you guys aren't too sure yet.
No, we've got a couple of calls over there, Mike, but what we have noticed is the same thing as you. Is I talked to Mackenzie because she's been up there and down there a few times, and it looks like those sheep, it's what's exactly what happened. We were trying to do that habitat work and doing a higher burn up above the road. And when that fire went through there, it did exactly what it did. And it's pulled the sheep off the road.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately. So they're just above the road now, and all that new lush grass that's up there.
Gotcha.
And shrubs and stuff up there. So we think that's where they are. We haven't seen any population declines. Like I say, we don't have a lot of collars on them, Mike. So we're trying to get a couple more out just to get some range usage. But like I say, the habitat up there is going to be just spectacular now.
Yeah,
so.
Totally. Yeah. It's really interesting because there's a spot that I run frequently. And when it jumped the lake, it ended up burning this park area as part of the regional district that I go trail running. And it was actually closed down it's technically still closed. I shouldn't be in there. Maybe I should edit that out, but I found a way to get in there. And so the first year I went through, and it was like, it looked pretty rough, right? Like the ground was just like torched, like didn't look like anything was going to grow back. But this spring it just exploded, man. And like, I've never seen more deer up there, more birds. Like it's insane. Like year to year, it just gets better and better and better. And you really see the importance of it. So, I mean, it's good to hear that the sheep, for one, survived and that they've gotten off the road, which is probably a good thing. And they've got tons of feed and everything to keep them happy now. So,
yeah, they should be fat and happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully those rams are doing their thing this fall and making some more lambs for us up there. Obviously, the key to any sheep herd is lamb recruitment. So,
yeah, and then speaking of habitat, any controlled burn projects you guys got planned for this year? Or?
So obviously, we're still continuing our stone sheep burns up north, Mike. So we managed to burn again this spring. Another, I think it was right around, I want to say 600 to 800 hectares. I think in 3 different burns.
Okay.
There was an article in the newsletter, and I should remember all these figures, but there's too much. So I'm guilty of not knowing exact numbers. But yeah, we managed to get 3 burns off up there, and they were successful, and the sheep are using the burns. And nice. We're seeing Alicia's just starting to put some numbers together on what the lamb recruitment looks like and whether there's other nuances playing in there. Obviously, there's been some ungulate management occurring. In regards for the caribou, so that's going to benefit moose and sheep and elk and their population. So as you probably noticed, there was some tremendous stone sheep chop this year. So, and rams that aren't 10, 12, they're like 8, 9 years old, but they're the monsters, right? So
right.
Come back to some big burns on the Bessa and other areas. So those are going to be beneficial to those sheep, right? It's opening up the sight lines, reducing some predation. And then we've got good feed, and then obviously at least a good lamb recruitment. So
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's continuing on. So hopefully this spring we'll get a few more burns off, and then we've kind of got to see where we're sitting on those polygons. And we've got Alicia Woods is actually doing the burning. She's the burn boss. She does all of that stuff, and then she's actually when we started the project, they didn't run a whole lot of pre and post data, and then it started to get asked, and it expanded the project, which it's fairly onerous and expensive.
Right.
But we're starting to get this data about the post burns and what's that doing. And then we're going to throw in what does a lamb recruitment look like and add these components. And then Alicia's actually going to do a master's off of this project. So hopefully we don't have to do, she'll get her master's done, get that finished, and then we'll have some science behind saying, yeah, this. I mean, we kind of already know what burns are going to do. We've seen it numerous times, but apparently we need some science papers behind it. So when she's finished that paper, then hopefully we can take that application of her paper and say, these are the benefits here. We know they're going to have probably the same benefits in region 4 for bighorn sheep. So let's not spend the money on the study, but let's spend the money on the burns and make sure we've got decent habitat, and we start to make some connectivity for that habitat, because a lot of the habitat's grown in too. So it's fragmented by ingrowth. So those populations kind of stay where those grasslands were. So we need to open up those grasslands again. So
absolutely. It seems like the public perception of prescribed burns and controlled burns is starting to change, and even government perception of it. Are you seeing that, with these massive wildfires, and people are starting to realize that, if we do some of these controlled burns, it's not only good for us as people who own homes in the mountains and hot areas like this. Is that something that you're starting to see?
A little bit, Mike. Government's still tough, right, with what's going on with bureaucrats and stuff like that. But it's nuanced. I think some communities are behind the burns now and on what's going on, and then where government fits in onto all that stuff, I'm not 100%, Mike. But it's a battle because government's changed so much, and we're trying to reconnect and find out who the decision makers are, and then what that looks like. So they just environment was actually separate to walrus, and they just brought it back into walrus.
Okay.
So they blended that piece, but then forestry is still separate. So it's another ministry, and then environment's another ministry.
Right.
So you've still got 3 different ministries that don't really talk. And I mean, that's the same issue we have with ag, trying to get policy and regulation around Movi. So trying to get ag and walrus to talk has been a real battle. And, we had I had some meetings with the minister, and they were fairly positive. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, we got a letter from saying that, it's not an ag issue, it's a walrus issue. And I'm just about losing my crap. It's a freaking ag issue, for Christ's sakes. It's the Right to Farm Act that limits what we can do on the landscape.
Right.
So, I think that's where I think voters and listeners can really have an effect if they go see their MLAs and pressure their MLAs and say, we want policy and regulation. We want to protect these bighorn sheep from disease. We're not trying to ban domestic sheep farming. We just want to limit that contact piece. And there's things we can do to make that happen. So hopefully one day we can get government on board, and we're trying to push, both ministers to start talking.
Good.
I believe the coalition meeting's coming up in about a week. So hopefully we'll get a bit of face time with both those ministers, and we can kind of push that agenda a little bit more, Mike, too. So,
well, that's good. Progress, it's like chasing your tail sometimes, but I mean,
20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you've been talking for what, 10 or so, I would think? Or is it getting close to 10 years?
Somewhere around there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Another thing you mentioned before we started recording was IPCAs, and that's something I wasn't aware of. Didn't know what it was. So explain what that is.
So I guess back when Mr. Trudeau was in power, he came up with the thing to make Canada's, that 30 by 30. So 30% of the land protected by 2030.
Okay.
So Mr. Trudeau came up with that idea. And then one of the ways that they were trying to implement that idea was through these IPCAs, which is an Indigenous Protected Conservation Areas. But same as they usually do, the federal government, they brought out the idea, this is how we're going to do it. But then they offload it to the provinces. And then it's up to the province to try and figure out how to implement these IPCAs, and are they going to put IPCAs in place? So I don't know if you've been following what's going on in Manitoba.
No.
It's so Manitoba, the government, they implemented an IPCA and basically told, and I don't know if it's changed, but the last piece that I'd read about it, Mike, was that all the hunting, fishing camps that were in northern Manitoba were told to get out of that area and no resident moose hunting.
Oh, really?
So they basically shut down the whole area because they wanted this IPCA.
Right.
So they did it without any balance or any, I think, conversations with stakeholders at that time. So not sure where it sits right now, Mike. I'm not sure if it's in court or where it is. I kind of follow it. It's on the Manitoba Fish and Wildlife website. So, but here in BC, there's a big one that's proposed, which encompasses the Muskwa-Kachika management area. And that IPCA has been led by the Kaska Nation. And they're proposing that they take the Muskwa-Kachika management area strategy and plans that are running that right now and then expand it to this IPCA so it becomes even bigger, so it protects even more area basically in that Kaska Nation area. So it controls, can control mining, it can control forestry,
right.
Some of those nuances. We've been fortunate to have a couple of meetings. I was in one of the briefing sessions, and there's nothing trying to limit access or hunting, any of those components. Okay. It's to kind of put a control on industry so it keeps that area as an intact roadless area, which is basically what it is. It's the largest roadless area in BC, or maybe in North America right now. So it's kind of cool. It's in the news. It's new to kind of everybody, and they're engaging everybody. They've been open and transparent about it. Kaska Nation and government are on the briefing sessions. So it's very, very collaborative. And then, like I say, they're engaging stakeholders and NGOs. So, so it'll be into, they're trying to have this in place, I think in about a year's time. So it should move fairly quickly through. And I think there's opportunity for input and feedback to Kaska and government on what that would look like. And again, they want to keep NGOs involved. So if it's done in the way that it's going, it'll be good for wildlife, and it'll be good for that habitat, and it'll be good for that area that it stays intact. But it allows those nations and those bands in that area to say, we're going to log in here, we're going to log this, but we're not going to have too many roads. Or, it gives some control over development, and what that looks like. But we don't know to what extent.
Right.
So some of those are the questions that will be answered down the road. But there's an IPCA, and I don't know if it's been implemented, but there's one in the Similkameen. So basically up into the Ashnola and Crater, they were deactivating roads. And that one's a little bit different how that one was put in, because there hasn't been much that I've seen conversation around it. And then there was another one proposed, kind of Lillooet, Spence's Bridge. And I haven't heard much about that one either, Mike. So there is a few out there. I think they're all in various stages, but the Kaska one is probably the biggest one and the one that's moving forward. That's probably going to provide the template for anything that may move forward after this. So it's an opportunity I think we need to educate ourselves on what they look like, and people need to be informed and keep their comments respectful.
Yes, for sure.
But right now it's looked like it's heading in the right direction. And if you're an executive, been involved with it, but it looks positive on the landscape right now anyway.
Good. Nice. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, like I said, man, I had no idea. So that's news to me, and good that we informed, I'm sure, a few more people on here. So definitely keep track of what's going on there.
Yeah, it's going to evolve fairly quickly. So
yeah. So there's probably a million projects that you could list off. What are some other things in BC that are happening right now that you're kind of keen to talk about?
Well, obviously our Fraser River project ongoing. I think we're coming into year 10 of the Fraser, believe it or not.
Yeah, crazy.
By the time we're all said and done, probably around $2.4 million invested to clear mulberry off the landscape, and still no policy regulation. So but the results we're seeing are just astounding. Like it's such a feel good story. Like we're seeing lamb recruitment where it was 0 to 14, 0 to 5. We're seeing 44 to 50 lambs per 100 ewes.
That's unreal.
One area was last year, we were seeing 75 to 77 lambs per 100 ewes. So I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but I think as we've gone through, we probably killed, and I don't even want to say what the number is, but we've killed quite a few ewes that were shedders. But the lamb recruitment is just, like I said, through the roof, right? So, the first treatment, we've got 8-9 years of positive lamb recruitment now. So we should start to see the numbers on the Fraser start to increase from that 850 animals we had when we started the treatment, hopefully starting to rebuild towards that 3,500 population that was there prior to the die-off. So, so that one's really exciting. And I guess to piggyback on, we're kind of working on a major one. I don't want to dive too deep in it, but we're looking at Oregon offered to give us sheep back into British Columbia.
Okay.
So we're looking at transplanting sheep from Oregon into BC at some point in the future here. So that's really in its infancy.
Okay.
But it's definitely out there. The chapter and affiliates for Wild Sheep Foundation raised $190,000 US to push this project forward. So,
oh wow,
pretty exciting about that one. So, like I say, it's such in its infancy, so I won't dive too much into it, Mike.
Right.
But it's out there, and we're calling it coming home because the sheep that populated Oregon's California bighorn sheep population came from BC.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Came from the junction. So the project's called Coming Home.
Full circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that kind of ties right into what's going on in the Fraser, and that'll be a $1 million project by the time it's all said and done. So
yeah. Wow. Any new tech or anything that you guys are using to monitor sheep or help with any of these disease issues? I mean, technology seems to be just exploding lately. Anything spill over into the sheep world?
It has started to, and I kind of just missed out on it because there's another project we got coming up, and I'll talk about it after. But we just purchased some collars, and then I was on a wild sheep conservation call, and they had a bunch of different presentations on how satellites, basically water projects in the U.S. So a lot of places like in Australia, they're collecting the rainwater.
Okay.
And then, but they were having to go up and check those tanks to see whether they were empty. They didn't know whether they were empty, or if there was an issue with the drinkers or any of that stuff. So these guys in Australia came up with a satellite with a float that will flip up to a satellite, come back, go to your phone and say, yeah, your drinker's working fine, or you
nice.
you need to go check it out, or you need to bring water in.
Right.
So some of the guys in the US and those southern states are starting to use that technology on their drinkers. So their water collection unit, so they can tell the level of tanks. It's like, okay, yeah, we got enough water in the tank. Oh, we're getting low. Let's go do a water drop instead of sending it out, or it's drained out and nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's really cool, and how they're using that satellite technology for that. Yeah. And then the other one that really caught my eye was they've got ear tags now that they can put on like tracking collars.
Okay.
So it's an ear tag. They call it the ear tag.
Yeah.
And it goes on the ear of the animal, and it's just like a GPS collar. They can track them through the satellites again.
Nice.
But it's like, 3 or 4 inches by.
Okay.
It fits right in the ear, right?
Is it all real-time data too, or?
I think so. Yeah, it is, Mike.
Cool. Huh.
Yeah. So, the drinkers, the ear tags. Yeah. It's really cool. So
nice.
That was a couple of neat ones that we haven't used any of this technology in BC yet, but when I saw the ear tags, like, damn.
Yeah, that's cool. For sure.
But yeah, so, and what was leading into that is we just made a collar purchase. Again, another expanding sheep herd. We knew there were sheep there. We didn't have a lot of information on. Well, we don't have a lot of information on, but basically on the south side or east side of the Thompson River, basically from Ashcroft coming down to the Nicola River, and then down towards Lytton.
Yeah.
There's sheep on that side of the river now.
Okay.
So unsubstantial amount, like probably 350 sheep. And we have no information on them. We're assuming the Rocky Mountains, they're Rocky Mountain bighorns. Yeah. But there's a couple of different herds. We don't know whether you're going for habitat usage. So we don't know where they're going to land. We don't know where their forays are going. And our concern is they may be foraying out towards domestic sheep, towards marrow.
Right.
So we're going to try and get 30 collars out here just before Christmas on 15 rams and 15 ewes, and just kind of get some baseline health data again. Basically what we do, blood, fecal, check them for MOVI, do the full suite of tests on them, get a baseline health assessment on those sheep, and then kind of watch where their forays are going and what they're doing. And I don't know if you've heard, but there's 4 sheep in Hope.
Really?
So there's 4 sheep. We think they've come from this herd and just gone down that way. But yeah, there's 4 sheep down in Hope this summer.
Oh, wow.
So that project's going to kick off, like I say, pretty quick. And that's in partnership with the CNA, it's made up of 10 different First Nations bands.
Okay.
And I'm going to apologize because I won't remember all of them, but it basically comes from Boston Bar, Lytton, Cook's Ferry, Merritt, Nickerman, Coldwater. But it's a group, and it's kind of a neat way how they've set it up. These 10 bands are run by a board, which is made up of the chiefs, and that piece is set up by those guys. So they manage this piece. So they have Jared Sontler, who's the biologist that's working with it, and then they presented to us in Penticton last year. So last year's convention, they presented between the expo and the banquet. We sat down, had a meeting with them. They brought a proposal to us, and we looked at it and said, "Yeah, this is great."
Nice.
And so we've taken it from that proposal piece, and we're going to put it into fruition this year and get those colors out and
nice,
and get some baseline data on these sheep. And again, another partnership with First Nations. So
yeah,
really exciting.
Nice.
So
yeah,
those are kind of our 4 major projects that we got. The Burn, the Fraser, the CNA project, and the Soropses project. So
very cool. Well, yeah, there's lots of positive stuff in there, so that's good to hear. There's lots of disease and stuff happening, but there's lots of good things happening too. So that's super encouraging to hear.
Yeah, and like I said, we're trying to. I was just actually on a call with Landon Birch and Robin Rutledge about just some stone sheep stuff. So
cool.
We didn't have any stone sheep projects really going on this year other than the Burn. So they're in the midst of trying to work on some stuff too. So for next year, so hopefully we'll have another stone sheep project for next year.
Sweet. I know everybody wants to jump on them, but if you need any volunteers for collaring, you got my number. I would love to do that.
Yeah. No, the collaring's cool. And like I say, the Soropses is a great opportunity this year in the penny and get your hands on the sheep. And
for sure. That's not fun for me.
Yeah, it's really rewarding. So
yeah, absolutely. I got to get Peter on here at some point too.
Yeah. He's the one that's been really involved. Like Pete's helping, is basically partnering with ONA. So between ONA and the Wild Sheep Society of BC, we're doing the Soropses project, and Pete's coordinating. He's up there feeding the sheep every day, and just doing a huge lift on that project. So it's pretty cool what he's doing. Very and cool. Of course, all the cool pictures in the Okanagan Bighorns website that he's got going on. So.
Yeah, great photos. Yeah.
And I think I probably should mention too, Mike, one of the things we did there to try and raise some money for that project was we had sponsor sheep.
Yeah, I just saw that today, actually. I was looking at that. Yeah, explain it.
Yeah, so basically you can sponsor, we have all the ewes. Obviously, we've got these lambs, so we ended up with extra sheep.
Yeah.
But basically the sponsorship is just to feed the sheep while they're in the pens while we complete the project. So I think we're about halfway through with our sponsorships. I believe we've got about 20 sponsorships left, maybe a few more, where you can actually sponsor a sheep. And I think, I'm not even going to suggest, I can't even remember what the number was, Mike. Was it $1,000 or $1,200 or something like that? But with that sponsorship, you get a photo, the ear tag number, and
cool.
It kind of updates on what's going on with your sheep. So really good opportunity to kind of give back, but really be on more of a personal level where you're actually sponsoring that animal. You can follow it. So
for sure.
We're going to auction off some ram ones, I think, at the banquet.
Nice. So that's exciting.
Look for a ram sponsorship there.
Yeah.
And then obviously those lamb sponsorships. So when we had those lambs, obviously population went up. So there's still some opportunities for sponsorship on those sheep. So if anybody's wants to get it updated, and you may not be in BC, you could be in Saskatchewan, you could be in New York in the US, doesn't matter. You can still sponsor one of those sheep and you'd still get an update from it. And obviously you get to follow on Okanagan.
Even to go on like with a few buddies and all chip in would be kind of cool, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like 3 or 4 guys get together, they chip in and
for sure
$250 a piece, and away you go.
That's awesome. Huh, that's great. Very cool.
Yeah, and then we're putting all the names on the pen. I think there's going to be some signs on the pen once we kick this off. So anybody that's sponsored a sheep, and then anybody that's major sponsors, businesses and stuff like that, they'll have their names up on the pens as well. So
great.
Yeah,
that's all good stuff, man. Before we run out of time here, so I wanted to close this out with some stuff that you've been up to, and I've been watching your Instagram, and you've posted some cool photos. Actually, there's 3 different things I want to talk to you about, but we'll start with your, you did an archery black bear hunt in the spring, And
Yeah.
I should mention to people that are listening that you live on Vancouver Island. So tell me about that trip, because I would love to do something like that, man. It looked super cool.
Yeah. So probably 20 years ago, me and a few buddies, we were driving around bear hunting, and then one of our friends, Kenny Hamer, phones us, me and Mike, and we were out bear hunting up in the Chilcotin area, and he goes, why don't you come to the island and do some bear hunt? We'll take the boat out and go hunt some estuaries and stuff. So um, we diverted and came to the island. We
Nice.
went out with Ken, and it was a whole nother world, right? There was
Yeah.
no bouncing around in a pickup, no
Yeah.
dust, and all this crap. You're just bombing around the boat. So we went out, dropped the boat in, and dropped some prawn traps, and then we go
I
bear
was going to
hunting.
ask, man, that's the best part of like fishing on the coast like that, is there's usually prawns involved too. So
Yeah. So we dropped the prawn traps. We didn't mess with crabs too much or any fishing.
yeah.
We just dropped the prawn traps to go bear hunt for the day and then come back and pull the prawn traps. So we had a bigger boat back then. So as my buddy James, he's a finishing carpenter on the island here. So he's done a lot of work on some of the stuff that I built.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's another bow hunter. So and me and James have been hanging around probably for about 6-7 years now and going to archery shoots and stuff. And he does some deer hunting. I said, well, let's go to the coast and we'll jump in the assault raft, as I call it. I got a 10-foot Zodiac with a 20 horse on it.
Perfect.
So the two of us can fit in there with our backpacks, and off we went. So we went out there. I brought a prawn trap, dropped the prawn traps down, and
Nice.
And we did out there. And so we went out there. So we went early. So I was trying to remember when we'd gone before. And then I talked to my buddy and goes, yeah, we were more towards the end of the way. We were April long weekend.
Okay.
So it's a bit early, but nobody else out there. We pretty well had the whole place to ourselves.
Nice.
And we saw 3 really good bears. And James, I think I did post a picture of that on Instagram. James stalked one to about 28 yards and
okay, yeah,
decided it wasn't big enough and let it go. And
nice.
I think he's thinking he probably should have shot that bear.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Yeah. It's been in that situation a few times the last couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we found a couple other bears and once in a different spot. And then I screwed up on one and I shot him underneath him. He got away. So it's like 40 yards and just long hair. I thought, blow it down here. Anyways, shouldn't have done that. I have something about bears and me, bears and goats. So yeah, that was our spring trip. It was really fun.
Nice. And then you were posting some photos in October. What were you up to there? It looked like some pretty epic hiking you were doing there.
Yeah, we did a pretty good hike. I did sneak in something else prior to the bear.
Okay, let's hear about that.
We went fishing to Queen Charlotte's.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we went to Queen Charlotte Lodge and we went fishing for 4 days. I went with Mike Southern and his son and my son, and yeah, just had a blast for 4 days in QCL. So obviously one of our major donors. They donate a fantastic trip every year. But yeah, we went up there and went and fished for 4 days, got some halibut, got some salmon, got some lingcod. I think we got the biggest lingcod, I think, of the trip was 35 pounds. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we got some good lings and
unreal.
Big pot of killer whales went through, about 40 killer whales.
Man. So. Awesome.
So yeah, we did that and then didn't do much through the fall. Didn't get any draws. So I kind of hung tight.
Yeah.
And then same thing. We were just bumming around. I really wanted to go sheep hunting up north this year and just didn't pan out. I couldn't get it together. Right. And Mike was doing a moose hunt. And James was, he'd been doing a bitter deer hunting. And so I was biting him. I said, do you want to go away for 4 days and we'll do a quick sheep hunt? So we buggered off up to Spence's Bridge. And
okay, that's why I was wondering if that's where that was. Yeah.
Yeah. We were in Spence's and I hunted Spence's a few times before and hiked in and picked a different spot and hiked in this year, and we packed in, I think, 16 liters of water each. Oh, wow. So we had a pretty good load. So that lasted for 4 days. So that was our max piece.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, man. That's a lot of water.
Oh yeah, it was a grunt going in, but it was once we got it unloaded, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was. I was joking with James when we were hiking out. I said, we did a 4-day sheep hunt, but it felt like a 10-day sheep hunt because we had rain, we had wind, we had it all.
Nice, yeah.
And then we did find a band of 10 rams, which was kind of cool. And we got in on them. And the one ram looked legal from the angle we were on, so I was looking down on him. It looked like he was well above the bridge of the nose, and I said, well, we got to get right level with him. So we walked down this shit ugly ridge down the bottom. We kind of got right on him. So I got the gun. He was bedded down and I couldn't see him clear. So I got the gun out. I'm all ready to go and wait for the spawn scope, and waited for him to get up. And he's walking around, and the other rams would block his horn. And then he kind of turned the right way. And then he finally got to the one spot, and it's like, he looked like he was probably about an inch and a half short.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, good mature ram, but like I say, it's full curl bridge of the nose and Spencer.
Yeah,
so.
right.
But that was cool. We saw those rams, and then we saw a couple of ewes, and then another couple of ewes with a lamb. So
nice.
But yeah, so it was just fun to hike around and just kind of get out sheep hunting and test yourself and say, okay, yeah, I can still do this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure out how many years I got left on it.
I think you still got lots left in you, man. I remember hiking into the park with you, and I was impressed. I was having a hard time keeping up with you. So you got lots of years left on you, man.
Well, I'm getting up there now, buddy.
I got faith in you.
Yeah, that was a fun trip though. So yeah, it was cool to just get out and do some sheep hunting. It kind of just reignited the fire again, just to get back up north and go for one of those 2 weekers again.
I haven't talked about it with Garrett and Kelly yet, but it's coming back to the front of my mind for this year coming up to maybe plan another sheep hunt. So we're still in the less than one club. We got to get kicked out one of these days, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're overdue for a good sheep hunt. The last time we went was 6 years ago now.
Oh wow, yeah, it goes quick, eh?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you almost need to be going every year just to figure it out, right? Just to keep going and going.
Yeah, I like that strategy.
Well, if you try and plan to go every year and you don't make every year, at least you know you're going to go every second year, right?
Exactly. Maybe that's the more practical plan to go every second year. But cool, man. Well, I won't keep you any longer here. It was really good to catch up with you and to see your face. It's been far too long.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to get on with you, Mike, and on Rookie Hunter. I think you've got one of the best audiences around. So,
well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm sure I'm going to see you down in Penticton, and that's, it's not right around the corner, but time flies, so it'll come up quick here.
Yeah, and I think I'm heading back to Sheep Show this year too. So,
are you?
Nice. Yeah, WSF's big show in January there. So,
yeah, I'm not going to make it this year, but I'm going to be there for the 50 the following year, 2027, which is going to be a big one. I know they're already making plans for that one, so it should be pretty wild.
Sounds like trouble to me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can feel the hangover already. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were culprits the first year you guys went down, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So show season's coming, right? So it's pretty cool. And then we've got our northern show too just before that in February.
Oh yeah, right.
Too.
Right. What are the dates on that one? You know?
I believe it's February 1st, 2nd. It's right around the beginning of February, Mike.
Okay.
So I apologize to your audience right now because
that's okay.
But they're all on the website.
Yeah, I'll put it in the intro or the outro for everybody. I'll double check all these dates for us.
That lame ass doesn't know his dates.
Nice.
But that's a great convention too. But I can't thank you enough, Mike. It's always a pleasure.
Anytime, man. On. Always welcome to jump on here. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't talked to Kelly for a bit. How's he holding up?
He's good. Yeah. He's got his boy there that keeps him busy. And he's actually, so I don't know if you know our whole backstory, but we used to play in a band together way back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know that.
he, a local guy here needed a guitar player. So on Friday, Kelly's opening for Trooper at the Kelowna Community Theater here. So he's pretty excited. It's been a long time since he's been on stage. And I think they had their last rehearsal last night. I'm a little jealous. I'm not playing drums, but so it's Kelly and my old bass player too. They got half of my old band playing for this guy's opening for Trooper. So
well, that's cool.
Pretty exciting. Yeah. So
I
think he's got the bug to get back into music, and maybe that'll get both of us out there playing again. We'll see what happens. But
that's cool. I'm gonna have to ask for his autograph now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Awesome. Good for him. Yeah, I've seen some of his pictures posted with his boy out fishing and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really cool.
Had him out. We took him out grouse hunting earlier this year, And it was fun, man, because we shot 2 grouse and he was sitting in the truck watching all of it and he's laughing and hooting and hollering and he loved it. And so I gave him both of the grouse and he was quite proud to show his mom, and his grandma was there too. So he came in with this bag of grouse breast, was showing everybody. And yeah, pretty cool to be passing it on to him, and he's loving it. So it's a good sign.
That's awesome. Good on you guys for doing that.
Yeah, super fun. But we'll keep in touch, man. And yeah, it'd be nice. I was trying to get Kelly to jump on tonight, but he couldn't do it. So one of these days, get the 3 of us back together would be great.
Well, he's in a rock and roll band now. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. We're never going to see him again. Awesome. All right, man. Take care, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Love that guy. It was great to finally catch up with him. It's been way, way too long. So we got the dates correct on the Salute to Conservation and Mountain Hunting Expo. That is definitely correct. I have that in the ads at the beginning of the episode too. But the dates for the Northern Convention were incorrect. Those are January 30th and 31st. Again, I got the links for you guys in the show notes if you want to check that, or go to wildsheepsociety.com. But that's it for this week. I will be back next week with most likely going to be another interview. So we'll see you guys then. Cheers.